I would like to present an interesting question that I've been thinking about a lot, which is should Pewter migrate eventually to Express v5, or should Pewter uh, migrate away from having a dependency for the web server? Like, should we not use Express or any framework and just build something ourselves? So, the argument to migrating toward Express 5 is we're already using the interface provided by Express to callbacks and handlers. Um, and Express 5 does a lot of things that we've had to jump through hoops to accomplish in Express 4. For example, async callbacks are now properly supported, which also means async error handling is properly supported. If I go into Pewter source code here, I can just find the right tab, and we take a look at uh, Express, spelled EGGS, we implement a few things. We could ignore these hard-coded middleware names because that's deprecated anyway. But we handle errors in here using middleware for unhandled errors, and we have to do this. We have to wrap a callback before registering it in an error handler that does support um, async await, and we catch the error there, and then that's actually what we pass into Express. And so we have the middlewares that come before and middlewares that come after, and then we have a wrapper around the actual handler, which works okay, but this isn't ideal, of course. And what if, error is thrown by a middleware that's not the handler? In that case, we generally just have to be really careful about how we handle these errors. So if I go to configurable auth, we can see, for example, we handle all of these errors, and we don't have our error handler middleware above us anymore. So we're creating an instance of API error and just writing it to the response. Um, Whereas normally we'd just throw it, right? So that makes this a little complicated, and it would be nice if it wasn't complicated. And presumably, migrating to Express 5 would make this not so complicated. We could delete a lot of that code, and a lot of the interfaces would stay the same. They also get rid of some things like, where was this? I remember seeing something about ordered query parameters, like numerically ordered. They removed support for that, which is great because that was actually a vulnerability in some context. So there are some good reasons to do that. Reasons not to do that, well, everything works right now. There's the old adage, don't fix what's not broken. So that would be a reason to do nothing, and not really a bad reason, right? But I think eventually in the future we will have to migrate to Express 5 or away from Express, um, naturally as the code changes and things improve and more people want to maintain it, right? So the other option is migrating away from Express. Now, why would we do that? Well, what is Express? Express is the application of the decorator pattern to callbacks, right? We're decorating callbacks. Um, and we're doing that using the builder pattern. So that's what middleware and Express is, which is one of the things that Express grants us. And using the builder pattern to apply decorators to functions is code you can write in 10 minutes. So that middleware pattern that Express offers is not very important. It doesn't matter. Um, One thing that does matter is because Express is composing design patterns. We're not composing those design patterns. So we actually have less control over how design patterns are composed in that context. But the other thing Express does is provides the interface for middleware that everything uses. All of the middleware that people have created, they used Express's interface because Express is really popular. So if we move away from Express and we just use the built-in HTTP interface for Node, well, unfortunately, the ecosystem grew in such a way that um, the code other people have written doesn't support the built-in HTTP interface. It supports Express. So in a way, we're kind of stuck with it. So if we move away from Express, that means what we need to do. We do have control over how we compose design patterns and all those beautiful things. But now we have to make an abstraction that looks like Express. So we could call it like Pewter Subsystem for Express, right? Something like that. So that's another different thing that we have to maintain. Um, so these are the approaches we can take. We can do nothing forever. We could eventually migrate to Express 5, or we can migrate away from using Express altogether, knowing that if we want to use code that was written against the interface Express provides, then we need to make an abstraction layer that looks like Express.